So I've had this thought for a while now, and it runs through my mind every time I play a game like Sekiro or GTA 5. Yeah, GTA 5. The reason why I ask myself this every time is because I've been playing a lot of GTA 3. The game isn't hard by any means, but sometimes it makes me question, how did a child version of me pass through this mission without having issues, while adult me sits here and complains, this could be so much easier if this certain mechanic existed. This doesn't exactly mean the game has now become easier because newer mechanics exist, because even some of these new mechanics limit you from what you were able to do. While I was able to speed as fast as I wanted without ever hitting the brakes, I now have to keep the thought in the back of my mind, am I going too fast? Will this kill me? This leads me to my thought, are games getting easier, or have we become complacent? Complacent in the form, maybe we're not as good as we thought we were. Except of course me, because I'm a god. But in all seriousness, there's always this weird level of excuse we tend to make when it comes to games. This is hard because, and this is easy because. I think it becomes easier to just state, this isn't fair. But what exactly isn't fair? For something to even resemble the definition of fair, we'd have to compare two relative and equally adjacent parties to one another. A big example is contained in fighting games. 1v1, it's all dependent on skill. And yet I can argue this isn't fair, and it never will be. Take example this match. It's clear my opponent outranks me, but the outcome of the match ended in my favor. And here's another example where both I and my opponent are equally ranked, and yet once again the match ends far in my favor. Neither of the opponents can compare to another because they both had different characters, and so did I. But to make things simple, we just have to focus on the rankings. The first opponent had a clear advantage over me because he's won far more matches than I have, and his color is different. While the second match, both of us had the same color, and yet I won, overwhelmingly won. So which match was fair? Well, neither. The game ranks you based on how many matches you've won, and I had taken a break from the game, thus my ranking resetting. This doesn't mean my skill and knowledge of the game reset, just a placement holder. Internally, I outranked both of them, but the game doesn't know that, and neither do I until the match is concluded. This is just an example of what isn't fair. It's impossible to know what difficulty the matches were based on, but simply on my take, the first match felt normal difficulty, while the second felt easy. I'm not saying the players are bad, but the end results speak for themselves. But what exactly is hard? A match where an opponent knows down to the frame when he's going to land the next hit, leaving you unable to play? Or a match that has 15 frame delay, meaning combos and hitboxes will never work to your favor? To make things more complicated, I want to break down the binary preset games have when it comes to difficulty. Here's a list of games that have no difficulty, but the game tends to spike further into progression. Here's a list of games with presets that try to cater to all players, but there is no definitive fine-tune. And here's a list of games that could care less what difficulty you play on. They'll always be hard, and you'll get used to dying, or eventually quit. So what exactly is the point I'm trying to make here? The purpose of the video is to invoke more questions and answers, because my answers will be different from yours. So what exactly defines for hard? Adding a timer to missions, increasing the health and damage of an enemy, reducing the amount of experience you'll earn, leaving the players without a map to traverse through the game? Well, all of these answers are none. Adding a timer to a mission doesn't increase the difficulty of the mission because most timers are well within the range of the set goal. Increasing the health and damage of an enemy doesn't make an enemy harder to kill. If we've progressed far enough to be challenged with a stronger opponent, then why not take the challenge? In a game like Dark Souls, you don't need a map to know where you're going, because exploration is part of the reward. But what if we took a game like Yakuza, added a timer, increased the health and damage of all enemies, and removed the map? Has the game now become harder? I'd actually like to play a version of this, because in a sense the game has now become more realistic. Things now need to be done within a timely manner. You've now restricted the player exploration while enhancing their experience because now they have to manage what they choose to do. But actually, I think a game like this already exists. Kind of. So in conclusion, I think that wraps up this video. I can't give a definitive answer of what's easy and what's hard, because nothing is true and everything is permitted. But I'll leave the video with one statement: a difficulty all games share and should be removed. Stop making your games harder to buy by releasing them on different fucking websites.